Hey, it's Jacob back with Lansweeper Pro Tip 54, how to use LsAgent to scan a Windows machine every time a user logs on to the machine. Now, this is a much requested feature from the community and from myself, being a system administrator, because basically the minimum interval you can scan with LsAgent is every 4 hours. This little hack will allow you to scan at a much more frequent or an interval that you want. In this case, every user login. That way, it will capture in the history, in the scan history, and the login history for Lansweeper every single time a user logs in. There is a caveat: this is not supported. I hope I don't get in trouble. But the reason why it's not supported is this can be server intensive. It takes a lot of memory for the on-premise server to process LsAgent scans. That being said, you can increase the memory on your scan server. You need to at least have 1 GB free of RAM. I recommend 4 GB free memory on your scan server, or percentage wise, you have to have at least 10% free of your memory. I recommend 30%, or this won't work. Now, the good news is you can set up a secondary scan server where you can make it a primary server to receive your LsAgent scans. So you can effectively offload the burden from your primary server to a second server. So the prerequisite to this, the main prerequisite is I recommend turning on scan logging. So you do that by going into configuration and you go to your server options, and it will be right here. However, I have two scan servers, so I'll pick my primary scan server, and you'll scroll down, and under scan logging, you'll check enable scan logging. Now, this is normally for debugging and other things. However, I like to keep track of every single scan and as much details as you can. And I also use it for my login report or login history or scan history report as well. So just make sure that that's checked. Now, let's go ahead and jump into this little hack. It's very simple, but it's kind of just a little creative way to get this going, to scan upon every login. So the first thing I want to talk about is LsAgent for Windows requires LsAgent.ini, or it uses an ini file, configuration file, and there's not many lines in it. I have an example right here of an ini file for an endpoint. Now, I removed my agent key, my relay key, because that is the unique GUID that you have on your on-premise server under the Lansweeper LsAgent relay configuration. I would show you mine, but it has my GUID in there. So you have your server address. It could be your machine name or server name or fully qualified domain name or IP address. The port that you to use to communicate, the default is 9524. I just left mine as default. And the unique asset GUID, this is used for communication with the cloud. So LS sites or the cloud relay refer to an asset ID in this format. The computer name, obviously, I'm on a server called Utilo2, And here is where the little hack comes into play. So last scan and last sent is a timestamp that the service knows, okay, here's the last time I scanned, here's the last time I sent. And it follows this, it uses this to determine, have I sent a scan and have I scanned in a certain interval that you set up on your Lansweeper server. So you may have it scanning every 6 hours. The minimum you can do is 4 hours. So I usually run it's 6 hours or 4 hours. And again, that's because of performance reasons. They don't let you go more frequent. So the little trick is, if you delete these little timestamps in the configuration file and you restart the Lansweeper service, it won't know that it hasn't scanned, or it won't know when the last time it scanned was, so it will scan it and send it over. So what I did was, in the blog article, I provided or made a small PowerShell script that will look for, in the INI file, it will look for these, and it will just delete the timestamps in there, and it will start and stop or restart the Lansweeper agent service, effectively just kicking off a scan. So I will show you real quick just the scripts right here without getting into the details. Most of this is just logging, and which I will show you in the file scanning features of on-premise. We'll want to set up just a few files to scan, just to make sure that the script is there, and monitor the error log if there's any errors from this script. So I'll just run this. This is on Utilo2 computer I have, and I will press play. And over here on the left side, I have just a little a tail software, the log tail that will you can see as the log file as it goes. Now this one is LsAgent log.txt. It is the actual LsAgent log file. Just showing you this to show that it is indeed working. So we'll go ahead and execute the script, and you'll see over here on the left, it stopped the service. In yellow, it started the scan. It'll also show you basically how long it takes for the LsAgent scan. So we'll just briefly wait here. Scan has been sent. Scan completed. Scan sent. It says it's 8:35. Let's go back to util 02 and 8:35 right there. So you can tell it has the last scan attempt and the last successful scan. And also it will tell you the LsAgent directly right here, and that it's scanned. Now, the next step is I recommend, or I will show you and put in the article, a way to deploy this with Active Directory group policy via a group policy that places the PowerShell script locally and also creates a scheduled task. Now, the reason why this will run locally is because if you're off-site, obviously you won't be able to communicate with the Active Directory, the domain controllers, and the net logon folder to process the script. But if you copy it down initially, you can be off-site or remote, and you log in, it will still execute the script. And if you enable Cloud Relay, it will send to the relay server, and your on-premise server will check in every 60 minutes. So you'll still get those scans even if you're not on the network. And that is what we want. And that's why this is cool. So I'll briefly go over the group policy, assuming that you know how to use group policy. But basically, I made a little group policy here called Restart Lansweeper Agent Task. I probably should have named it something better, but there you go. So there's only 3 little things in here that we need to set, and they're all under the computer configuration. And that is preferences. So we'll want to go to the Windows settings, and you'll want to do 2 things here. You'll want to set a folder to be updated or created called C scripts. In my example, you can make your own, and you will want to right here, I just put make the folder update, which means, basically if something changes or if it gets deleted, just it'll put it back. And that's basically it there. And then you'll want to go down to the files, and you will want to say new file, which I have right here. So I'll go to properties. And you will want to point it to your net logon share on your domain. And I put this in the article for the path, but it's your net login folder, net logon /scripts. And you will want to put the destination file as C scripts and then the name of the PowerShell, which is, in my case, Lansweeper Service Manager.ps1. And the third thing to set up in the group policy is under Control Panel Settings, Scheduled Tasks. So scheduled tasks right here, you just create a scheduled task, and you give it a name, and you say run @logon. So right here, you just say out of your choices, run @logon. And there's some other settings that you could mess with, but the trigger, the action that you want is just launching PowerShell and setting the execution policy to process this file and pointing it to the PowerShell file on the C drive in the C scripts. And that's it. So then once you apply the group policy, which I did on my workstations and servers right here, then you'll just do a GP update .force. So here is a different machine. It's one of my database servers, but we will go here, run as administrator, and then do a GP update -force. So there we go. So computer policy and the user policy will update. And this is what, on this machine, this is what you'll see. You'll see, well, I'll just go ahead and pull it up here. You'll see in the task scheduler, you will see run LsAgent @logon. And you will also see your scripts folder and the PowerShell file. So now, to test it, we will sign out. And we will sign back on. So this script has a little rudimentary log file right here. And if there's a problem, it'll make an error log.txt. But pull this up, and it's a weekly file. And right here is where it ran. It stopped. It found the service. If it doesn't find the service, it'll just log in the error log, and it'll stop. It'll just say, okay, there's no service. So then it doesn't do anything and it exits out. But in this case, we have the Lansweeper service. So it stops it and it performs its PowerShell, where it removes the timestamps and then it starts it. So we could tell there that it worked. So it worked, and it was around 8:43 p.m. And it takes takes a minute or so to run. Now we'll go SQL 01. Yeah, there we go. 8:42:49. That was close. So, and again, scan time. If you go to scan time, agent scan, LsAgent, right here, 5:21. So with that, you can now have a history of who's logged in with every scan, because right here it shows that I am logged in, or whoever Ram is, which is me. But and you can make some reports, which I've included in the article, where here's a logins, user logins detected upon scan. So I haven't refreshed this. Let's refresh it. And what did we just do? So we did util 02 for the example, and we did SQL 01. So they're right here at the top, and it has, at this particular time at the scan, which is where when they logged in, essentially, I was on there. So basically, I'm the one that logged in the machine. So also with the scan history, now refresh this. There's my util 02 and my SQL 01, and the scanning method was LsAgent. So you can have a history of your actual scans there too, which you can combine with other reports. You can combine with the user report, the user login report, if you wanted. So the other thing before we wrap this up is you can go into scanning and file and registry scanning. I can't say that word. I like to use this feature to basically be a poor man's um, error collection, where you can set up right here, add a file scan, and I point it to one, the PowerShell file, so you can report on what actually doesn't have the PowerShell file. You can see here, you can report. There's the machines that have the PowerShell file. And also, if you modify the file in your Active Directory and you make some changes, you can use this feature right here to show you, oh, well, I was messing with this file on my local machine, so it's modified a couple of days ago, and the other ones are using older ones. So I'll actually need to run a process to update that. Um, so that's one thing to put in there, and the next one is the error log that I was talking about, where it goes to Lansweeper Service Management underscore error log.txt. So by putting this file in there, you can then see that util02 had an error on the 21st where I made this happen. And you can then check on what the error is. But basically, I disabled the scan service and it threw an error that it could not restart the service or stop it or restart. And it will send to this error log, and you can use this little feature to make a report where, and I'll add those to the article. Say, hey, you can email it out if you want. These had some problems. So again, because this loads, it performs the task from local C scripts, it works while you're off the network. So there you have it. You have a quick and easy way to scan with LsAgent every time a user logs in. And this will also work when they're remote and off the network if you enable the cloud relay portion. You didn't hear it from me. It's not supported, but fortunately, with all things Lansweeper, if you need something to happen, there's a way to make it happen. I really like that about Lansweeper, about how customizable it is. So have a good one. I will see you on the next one. Bye.